My name is Jenny. I was born with my right arm cut off underneath my right elbow, and then this hand has had lots of reconstructive surgery. When I was first born, it was like one big ball of skin, and these two fingers, like, they weren't there. So they cut open my hand, they took skin from my hips, and they used the skin to sort of open it out, and then those two are toe transplants. So I have 2 toes on each foot from where they've taken them to form a working hand like this. Mostly people's attitudes towards it. Like, around the time of the Olympics that was the first time where I really sort of realised that people's attitudes towards my deficiency weren't the same as I saw it, because people would come up to me and they'd say, "Oh, are you going to go for are you going to be in the Paralympics next year?" And I'd be like, these people train just as hard. Like, it's not some sort of sports day, something that kids do. And then I sort of realised that people do actually, I feel like I get babied a lot. I suppose is that I feel like I get wrapped in cotton wool a lot. People often do get a bit nervous around me. Like, if I was to walk into a job interview and the first thing that they do is they sort of, you see that look on their face where, like, do I shake her hand? Like, do I dare shake her hand? What do I do? Because obviously everyone goes in for the right, and I'm like, this is what we do, we go in for the left this time, and they just sort of get a bit awkward about it.
Yeah.
So, people, I guess, is
That's
the answer
the
to
main
that
challenge,
one. The
yeah.
main challenge is just trying to make people realise that I'm not embarrassed about it and that it's okay.
Do you find that people condescend to you, like, and say, offer you, do you want to help?
Yeah.
Do you want me to open that drink for you or something like that?
The main thing that bothers me is waiters offering to cut up my food. That happens, it doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough for me to notice that it's a recurring thing, and that can be quite embarrassing.
Is it, do you ever sort of get upset by that sort of stuff?
I did once. I was on a cruise with my family, so we dined in the same place for 2 weeks, and every single day the waiter would ask me if he wanted to cut up my food, and I thought he would get the message when I said it once. I'm fine, no, I can cut up my food, but it was every single day.
The same waiter?
The same waiter every single day asking if I wanted to help with my food cutting up, and I was like, is he just not getting the message? I was like, is he gonna consistently believe, despite him being able to watch me cut up my food every day, that I still can't do it?
I can imagine you get angry about that sort of stuff.
I do get quite angry about it, but then it's also hard because it's like, well, they are just, they're trying to be nice, but it's hard to get the balance between they're just trying to be nice and they're actually being a bit rude. I think I am a naturally optimistic person, but I also do think that part of my attitude of just go out and do it has come from my arm and wanting to prove to people that I can do stuff and I have a regular life. And
I guess you've got to sort of overcome people's reactions for the start, so you have to be quite bubbly.
So I have to be a bit this is because if I was a quiet sort of, and obviously I can be sometimes, but if I was quiet and shy and kept a bit to myself, opposed to people thinking I was quiet and shy and uncomfortable about talking about things, people would probably think that's because of how I've been, because of my arm, opposed to just she's that way because she's that way. If someone's staring at me, or if they're like, I don't know, if they just seem a bit uncomfortable around me, I do tend to exaggerate and go in with that part of me, because I don't know, because I want to prove to them that I'm not, I guess. In secondary school, I got by a few teenage boys. They'd shout a few things out, but they stopped very quickly, I think, when they realised that it was actually just this big knobs.
Yeah. Does it make you feel like you're sort of an outsider in that sort of way, sometimes, if people are bullying you?
No, never, because people get bullied for everything. Like, if I don't know, if I was wearing something that someone didn't think was cool, they'd point that out to me. Bullies will always find, I say using the word bullies like they're one type of person, but they will always find something, and I don't feel like my arm was any different than just me wearing a particularly uncool piece of clothing that day. I was once on my way back from work and I just sort of plaited my hair to the side, and I just turned around to see that everyone on the bus was just staring at me, just like watching me plait my hair like it was some sort of miracle or something, and I was just like, I'm just plaiting my hair, like I forget that I do things that are impressive.
Yeah.
And the first few times I meet people, I do find people sort of watching me just as I do things. It's just Jenny doing things her way. My boyfriend Dan, when we went round the zoo together, and he thought it was hilarious. He had a great time because past every single animal cage he would go, oh, I'm really proud of you for, you know, confronting these tigers after one bit your arm off and stuff. And so he likes to have a good laugh at it, but I'm like, oh, I feel so guilty for misleading people, and
Yeah.
I feel like people are embarrassed enough about disability as it is, and if I was to take the piss out of them, I'd be contributing to that, I
Yeah,
suppose.
that's fair enough. So I guess you just want to get it all out in the open a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like if I embarrass people about it, they'd be even less comfortable.
You don't mind having the label of being Jenny with one arm, like?
It bothers me some days. Some days I really don't like it, but most days I'm fine with it.
I guess it depends who it is and how they're sort of saying it, I guess.
That's a lot of what it is. It depends who's saying it. Whether I feel there's always this line in my friendship of when I know I'm comfortable with someone when they make their first joke about my arm. That sort of thing. I'm like, we're cool, aren't we? Because they understand that it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
So a lot of it depends on the context, and a lot of people need to be comfortable with me before they feel like they can ask that question. Whereas often it's a lot easier if they just ask me straight out and then it's out of the way, because I do feel like it puts a lot of awkward tinges on the beginnings of my friendship sometimes.
You mentioned your charity, that you're part of a charity, Reach.
Yeah.
Just tell me a little bit about that.
So it's a charity for people with upper limb deficiencies. So that includes anything, obviously, with these two limbs. And they support children but mostly parents.
Because a parent who's just had a one-armed child probably going to be so
That's
worried
right.
about how their kid's going to grow up, and seeing you, it must make them you know, happy.
That's another thing why I feel like I'm lucky, is because I feel like I have something to offer to these parents, and just seeing the looks of relief on their faces is so worth it. Like when they see me, I don't know, like you just watching me make a cup of tea, normal day things, they see me do that and they go, oh, it's going to be okay, and she's a perfectly normal person, and she, you know, just seeing someone having a normal life, and it just gives them so much hope for their child, and so it makes me feel so lucky that I can do that. But then their child will grow up and do exactly the same for the next set of parents, and so.
Did you ever think that you wouldn't have a normal life?
No, never.
There you go. I guess that says it.
No, never. No.
That says it all, I guess.
It's not something I've ever considered, is that I would have some sort of different life. No.